Legato playing is a great way to add fluidity to your lead guitar playing. Essentially the concept here is, instead of picking every note that you play, basically you're going to pick each new string when you get to it, and then everything else that you play on that string you're going to use hammer-ons and pull-offs. This is similar to the approach that wind players will take in their runs. Although it's possible that every time they moved a fingering on their horn that they breathe into it again, it's much more common and smoother sounding usually if they breathe in once at the beginning and then they'll change the fingering on the instrument. So the equivalence for guitarists would be the pick is like that initial breath, and everything that the left hand is doing is going to be moving that fingering around. And of course when you change the string, you have to re-articulate at that point. The scale that we're going to be using today is based on a D minor blues scale with a few added notes. The notes that are added are there to keep a consistent 3 notes per string during the run. So if you had your blues scale, it's basically just a pentatonic scale with this added flat fifth. So some of the strings here have 3 notes on them, other ones have 2. And what we want is the 3 notes per string, so we're going to add from D Dorian, welcome, an E note, that's the 9th of the chord, and sort of in the middle of the scale we're also going to add a C sharp from D harmonic minor, and near the top we'll also be adding a B, that is the 13th or the 6th of a D Dorian scale. So the scale that we're using is really a combination of the D blues scale with some selected notes from D Dorian and D harmonic minor. So in example 1, that's example 1. For example 2, we're going to just start working on the 2 thinnest strings in this pattern, and we're going to play them in a pattern of descending 3s. You could think, so if I start here, I take 2 descending steps, and then 1 ascending step, and then 2 descending steps, then 1 ascending step, 2 descending, 1 ascending, 2 descending. So example number 2. That stuff is cool if you pick it, but it's going to be a smoother sound if we slur. So here's the idea. After playing this first note, then we'll pull off, hammer on, pull off. And then we get 5 notes with 1 pick articulation. And then we're crossing strings, so we have to pick the B string, we go back, we have to pick the high E string, and then once we're on the B string, we pick once, and we get the rest of the notes just by slurring with hammer-ons and pull-offs. So that's example 3. Move it around the neck if you want, why not? Just get that, sort of the coordination of when you pick versus when you hammer on and pull off. Get that together. For example 4, we're going to take this same pattern that we played in example 3. I'll play that cleaner. And we're going to play it on the B and G strings. Now, when you connect them, here's, again, example 4. When you're connecting example 3 and example 4, let's see, the last 3 notes of example 3 are the same as the first 3 notes of example 4. So if we hear them individually, example 3 and example 4, we put them together like this. Okay, for Example 5 now, we're going to continue this pattern down the scale, but we have to adjust the fingerings. Instead of playing 13, 12, 10 on the D string, we're playing 12, 11, 10. So shifting from the G string to the D string, we have a little quicker, better. You really have to concentrate on the rhythm in the left hand. When you're picking every note, you sort of get a motor rhythm going with the strum that will keep you rhythmically tight. But just like sweep arpeggios or legato playing or tapping, it doesn't just physically happen that it's even. You really have to concentrate if that's what you're going for, if you're trying to make it even. So then, example 5, we're finishing the whole pattern. We're adjusting the notes that we're playing to the scale slowly. A little quicker. So here's the whole lick again. Of course, you can use like just little bits and pieces of this in your soloing. You can find more examples of this type of playing on the Superbug song Air Raid, and you can find that on www.superbugworld.com. That's SUPERBUGWORLD.com.